tube, right? Okay, you got holes in there. What's different? Think of the size. Which one's longer? The Combitube is longer, and what else is missing?
The wires.
The double thing.
The double thing.
So, the Combitube's much easier. It's much shorter. It's gonna go directed towards the esophagus. It's not ever gonna get in the trachea. That would be very rare, okay? You inflate both balloons. There's none of this like you bag on one and then you bag on two, okay? So how do you put those in? Come on over here and I'll just put that in, okay? Okay, so is this an emergency airway if you can't intubate? Sure is, that's the only reason you use it. You can't intubate or you're not trained, okay? So this is another one. I'm gonna go in blind. How far am I gonna insert it? I'm gonna insert it up to the flange, okay? All right. Now, are there two pilot balloons on this? No, so there's just this one. That's gonna inflate both. There you go. No more two things to inflate, they automatically inflate. And then you're gonna bag. Is that easier than the Combitube?
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with two balloons, or you got two balloons. You're dealing with one pilot balloon, much shorter, okay? It goes in faster. There's not bag number one, bag number two, inflate two things. So the King Airway has replaced. And so here, when might you see these guys? If you're gonna respond to what? Trauma. If you're gonna, where there weren't, they either couldn't get them intubated too hard, or they just, you know, they weren't trained. So they slip one of these in. So what you need to know is when you come in, is this an endotracheal tube?
No.
No. Okay, now. All right. Let me see your King Airway. Okay. This is just a tube. The ventilation holes are here, 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 here. Okay? This has an opening at the bottom. And it has an opening up here. You can put an NG tube in. NG tube goes into here and then comes out the bottom, goes directly into the stomach. Okay? You can't put an NG tube in this. Now, when they come in, if they come in with this kind of tube, you need to tube them, right? Okay? So you're gonna slide, what is this called? Tube exchanger? You're gonna slide this in. I said this is likely gonna go in the esophagus, right? Okay, so, hold on one second. All right, so if this tube exchanger is going in, where's that pointing towards? Trachea. So, tube exchanger goes in through the King tube, all right? They take this out, and then feed an ET tube right down, because they've already gotten this pointing into the trachea and they're in. So, you can do that. Can't do it with this tube. This tube you can. The King, you could feed it through here, okay? There you go. Pointing towards the trachea, so they remove the King tube and then feed the ET tube right down, okay? So this is what you would have to know about if you went down to a trauma and they came in with a King tube, that it's not an endotracheal tube, it's an emergency airway. Can you trach them through this? You put a tube exchanger down and then they feed the ET tube down, okay? That's it. All right. Okay, let me collect those. So the two emergency airways we just talked about were King and the Combitube, right? Right. And your emergency access to the airways, thanks. Okay? And so I think on your labs, all right, so if we open the lab, what is this? Nasopharyngeal airway. What is this? Oropharyngeal airway. That's the LMA, which we haven't talked about yet, and the ET tube. What is this? The king tube, okay? That's the king tube. And then be really careful, students make a mistake, and they call this the endobronchial or Carlin's tube, and it is not the Carlin's tube, okay? The Carlin's tube that Joni talked to you about, that goes down, there is a big difference between the Carlin's tube and the Combitube. They see the two adapters and students just assume you're dealing with the Carlin's tube or endobronchial tube. This is to ventilate one lung differently than the other. That's not this. Okay? So be careful. All right. Okay. All righty. All right, so I'm gonna go by this. Oh, these have the numbers 3, 4, 5. All those you look at were 4s. How you choose the size is determined by the height of the patient. Most people end up with a 4 because they're between 5 and 6 feet, okay? The Combitube is the same. They do it by height as far as the size too. Okay. I'm gonna skip this, okay, because I just showed you how it's inserted. All right, okay. The two different type of King's tubes, you're not responsible for that. You know, one you can put an NG tube down, one you can't. All right, so the LTSD, that the one with the S is the one that you can put the nasogastric tube down, but I'm not expecting you to know that. Okay, just what is the King tube? Okay, this is how you would replace it over a bougie tube. I'll let you guys watch that if you want to, but I don't think we need to look at that right now because I just showed you how you would do that. All right, the last tube is the laryngeal mask airway. This is not an emergency airway, guys. This is used for, this is a different type of airway access used for people in the OR. The last time I had my surgical procedure, the anesthesia on my shoulder, the anesthesiologist comes in and he says, if we have to intubate for some reason, we will, but otherwise, you know I was a therapist, he goes, we'll use an LMA, all right? These are great for short surgeries, okay? These are called, the LMA is called the laryngeal mask airway. Okay, look at how it's shaped, okay? Laryngeal mask, where does it go right over? The larynx. So the opening, the tip sits at the esophageal sphincter, okay? The tip sits at the esophageal sphincter, and this sits at the epiglottis, okay? So this sits over the glottis. And where do you ventilate? How do you ventilate? Through those holes. So you're bagging here, and the air goes through the 3 holes at the bottom, right down into the larynx, okay? So, the tube has a little mask. When you first put it in, this little mask is partially deflated, and you lube this thing up. And you use your finger and you guide it across the roof of the mouth and back. And when it stops, you have hit the epiglottis and the larynx. And the esophageal sphincter. And then you inflate the mask and then you bag. And you look for what? How do you know when you're in the lungs? What do you look for? Chest rise. Okay? Okay, so used as an alternate to bag mask ventilation, does not stimulate the larynx. Okay? Does it protect against aspiration? No, it does not. That's the one thing. It doesn't necessarily protect against aspiration. Okay, so indications are short-term ventilation, or if you're having trouble mask bagging, okay? Risk of aspiration okay? Cannot be used in a conscious or semi-conscious patient. They use these in the OR when they're given anesthesia, okay? As an alternate to bag mask or as an alternate to putting in an endotracheal tube. So look at where this is sitting. So this is in, okay, in this one, they've passed an NG tube through. Yours don't have a hole at the bottom. All right, so the laryngeal mask opening would be here on the inside, so air is directed to the trachea. The tip, okay, sits at the epiglottis. The back end goes to the esophageal sphincter. Got it? And through the holes is how ventilation takes place. It's a little mask that fits right over the glottic opening. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay, so here's the insertion.
The laryngeal mask airway is a supraglottic airway device that healthcare providers can insert without visualizing the glottis, while
What does supra mean? Right above the glottis, supra above, okay? And they can just put it in there without seeing the glottis.
compressions continue uninterrupted. This makes training easier and insertion more reliable. The laryngeal mask airway is a tube with a distal inflatable mask that is placed in the patient's hypopharynx. A size 5 laryngeal mask airway fits most adult males, while a size 4 fits most adult females. Before using the airway, make sure the mask inflates properly. Before inserting the laryngeal mask airway, deflate the cuff completely, making sure there are no folds or bumps in the mask. Lubricate the posterior surface of the mask with a water-soluble lubricant. Place the laryngeal mask airway in the open mouth with the opening of the mask facing the patient's tongue. Advance the device to the back of the tongue. In a smooth motion, use your index finger to press the laryngeal mask airway against the roof of the mouth and downward. Continue advancing the device until you feel resistance, which indicates the distal end of the tube has reached the hypopharynx. Withdraw your finger and inflate the mask. A size 4 mask will take 30 milliliters of air. A size 5 will require 40 milliliters. Once inflated, the laryngeal mask airway will center itself in the mouth. If placed correctly, oxygen will flow from the device into the trachea. If there is no chest rise with ventilation, the laryngeal mask airway may be too shallow, or the cuff may have folded during insertion, blocking the airflow. Pull the laryngeal mask airway out and reinsert it. One way to prevent folding is to partially inflate the cuff during insertion. The laryngeal mask airway can also be placed upside down and rotated in the back of the throat as it is advanced to maneuver the tongue forward as it slides into position.
Okay, so, Henry and Patea, come on up with your mask and see if you can, I never tried putting one of these in, okay? So, come on up and see if you can, Patea looks like he needs a little stimulation. All right, ready? Okay, first, what do you want to do?
Make sure it's deflated, the mask.
Yeah, but they did say that, partial inflation, that's good like that, I think. Girls, aren't you gonna come up and watch them do their thing? Okay, so, we're gonna use, all right, see if you can slide it, remember, you're gonna use your fingers, okay, you're gonna use your index finger, you're going across the roof of the mouth, and then down. I mean, I might not be able to do it, so, okay? Keep going. Good, good. Now let's put, oh, we didn't look at the size, okay. What is that? A 3, so let's put in 30 milliliters. Oh, ooh, wouldn't that be nice if we got the chest rise on that? Let's guesstimate. Well, yeah, you could use that, or you can, let's guesstimate there. Okay. See if you get chest rise. Okay. See, yeah, see if you get chest rise with the back. Whoop. Push it down further. No, push the tube down further. Use your finger. Okay. Wait. Now try.
Hey, Nina.
Yeah,
Hey, Jesse needs you. Can you come here for a second?
hold on. Who needs me?
Jesse.
Oh, yeah. Okay, try now. Little bit. Yahoo! You take the air out. You try it, Potato. Give that a little squirt. What's up? What happened? You didn't hit the bit? So it didn't hit the floor? Oh, okay, good. Then go for it. But what you do is hit submit, not enter. And then you go here. So that's fine with me. I mean, we have to go forward, but I don't want to push it. You want to do it? Okay, well then you should do it right.
How many questions is there?
Okay. Oh my God, that's, you know, you have to text everybody else in the model and then it says, hit submit, so they get sure, okay? Okay, what do you have to, okay, all right, go ahead. Oh my God.
So you always think that you're
Nina, how much more do you have?
The second PowerPoint, the trachs. I'm done. They're just, they're intubating with an LMA. How's it going? I think you have to go further. Did you try it?
Yeah.
That one, again, you have to use your index finger to work it down the
Well,
back.
that's cool to actually put the LMA in.
Yeah, we did the Combitube, we did the King tube.
They all did the Combitube?
Combitube, I did the Combitube. Okay, did you inflate it?
No.
About 30 cc's. I don't know what exactly 30 is on that. But they're getting a feel for it, you know?
Good.
I'm trying to keep them awake. This Ralph Potato, he looks like he's dying. Did you work last night?
No, go to sleep last night.
Oh my God.
You worked last night shift?
No, I didn't work.
There you
but I
go.
was asleep.
Little long rise. Little long rise. Okay, so we got the idea? All right, you guys wanna go take 10 minutes? Take 10 minutes, refresh your brains, and I'll put away.
Just think, we get to do this all over again tomorrow.
Yeah, oh God, 2 lessons. Yeah, you wanna come tomorrow? You
You wanna come
because
teach
I-
at Potato?
I'll watch it.
Come teach it.
Now I'm gonna watch it again.
Oh, you're videotaping?
Yeah.
The dean said, why do you guys have so many hours? Well,